All right. Good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us. My name is Andrew Sporer. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communication here at Chmura Economics and Analytics. And I'm excited to introduce Talent Watch, the subject of this webinar and our newest JobsEQ analytic. Before we get started, I'd like to cover just a few housekeeping items and give you all a brief overview of our organization if you aren't already familiar. For those of you who have attended our webinars before, you'll know that our presentation slides and recording to the webinar will be forwarded to all our registrants after the call. You can also visit our website under the Resources tab and access this and all previous webinars there as well. Questions. We're here today to offer some insight into Talent Watch and JobsEQ. So if you've got specific questions on data, process, or anything else, please do utilize the chat box. It should be in your upper right-hand corner. Near the end of the call, we'll have a short Q&A where we'll try and work our way through any questions located there. For those unfamiliar with our organization, I'd like to share just a bit more about us. Chmura provides labor market data and analysis through three main offerings: our JobsEQ software, consulting services, and access to data. We were founded in 1998 by our CEO, Chris Chmura, who's joining us on the call today. And we'll actually be celebrating our 25th anniversary next month. So we're very excited about that. We have two offices, one in Cleveland, Ohio, and another in Richmond, Virginia, from where we are broadcasting today. But we do serve clients all across the country. As a team, we care about helping our customers grow their business and communities. We like to say that we share in our customers' success. So our goal is really your satisfaction and growth. And lastly, we're driven by excellence in customer service and data quality. It's actually what differentiates us most. In the data we offer, in our customer support, in the quality of our analytics and consulting services, excellence is our top priority and informs everything we do. That commitment has translated to an over 90% annual renewal rate for JobsEQ customers, testament to the ongoing partnership and communication we maintain with all of our users. These are the things that we hear from our customers in those renewal conversations, so I'm glad it's not unnoticed. Speaking of our customers, the labor market data, software, and consulting services we offer can benefit a wide range of industries, from corporate clients who need competitive analysis and benchmarking, our partners in economic development seeking insights on the labor availability of their region, for higher education institutions who need labor market data to plan their academic offerings, for those in site selection who need to compare wages and average commute time between locations, for staffing agencies and talent acquisition professionals who are looking for potential customers, wage insights, and information on who is hiring and for what roles, or for those in workforce development who want to track real-time changes in their economy and identify which occupations and skills would provide the most opportunities for their workforce. Here's just a quick snapshot of some of our customers, representatives from which you can meet at our upcoming JobsEQ Users Conference. Come January, we'll be headed to Universal Orlando to beat the cold. The conference will be at the beautiful Lowe's Portofino Bay Hotel, pictured here. Do join us for keynotes from JobsEQ power users, breakout sessions to refine your JobsEQ skills, a panel-style Q&A with our amazing customer support team, and a rare opportunity for an in-person FIT certification, our JobsEQ official training and education certification, with hands-on help from our product team. If you're interested, you can get a full agenda and additional registration info at chmura.com/events. You can also scan that QR code there with your mobile device. A quick note, if you are attending, we're very excited to see you. Do remember to book your rooms before December 26th and take advantage of our discounted room rate. Lowe's Portofino is very generous with that, so we're excited to be able to offer that to our users. All right, onto the subject we have been waiting for. To demonstrate the power of JobsEQ's newest analytic, I am joined by Dr. Chris Chmura, our founder and CEO, and Sean McAndrew, Enterprise Account Executive, who will walk through several common use cases and attempt to answer any questions you may have. Chris, without further ado.
Great. Thanks very much, Andrew. Just one other thing about the conference. It's usually it's always a good time, but as Andrew said, it'll be great to be someplace warm late in January. And if you've ever been to the Lowe's before, you're thinking this is too expensive for me. But as Andrew said, we got a great rate. If you went there today, it would be a little over $700 a night, and our rate's just a little above $200 a night. So, and also if you're not a user yet, we'd welcome having you there. You learn a lot about labor market data and how it's used. So now to the intro on Talent Watch. Some of you who use JobsEQ probably already have access to our real-time intelligence, our job postings data. So we spider over 40,000 sites on a daily basis. We deduplicate it, so it's high quality information that you can find about the employers that are hiring, what certifications do they require, soft and hard skills. We use the government SOC codes, occupation codes, but we also show job titles because not all job titles are in the government classification system. For example, cyber is not. So you can Google and find, or you can, sorry, not Google, you can search and find cyber within our job postings. If certain education is required, that's shown. We also identified the jobs that are remote, part-time, temporary, and Sean will bring this up in his demo to you so that you can see as an HR person, if I hire someone remote or allow them to work remote, how does that change the duration of how long it takes to hire someone? Wages and location. And so on the right, you're seeing a screen capture of the software that you're going to see, the analytics that you're going to see live in just a couple minutes. On this next slide, then, some of the use cases. Now, if you're here and you're in economic development, there are also some great use cases. We're focusing on corporate today, but for example, if you're in economic development and you have XYZ paint coatings firm coming to your region and they want to know who else is in the region that they may be competing with, you can do some analysis for them and give them firm specific names, wages, and skills that those firms are looking for. But in terms of today, again, we're going to highlight the corporate side where they may be using it, or you may be using it for workforce strategies. For example, where do I find the skills I need? Can I find it within the couple of counties around me or within a 45-minute labor shed? What other transferable skills, if I can't find a machinist, what other skills do individuals have that I can hire? If I'm considering expanding to a different location, will I find the workers I need? Competitive analysis. What skills are my competitors hiring? And then finally, market benchmarking. What are the appropriate wages by location? It's going to be different for San Francisco than it is for Cleveland, Ohio, or than it is for Chicago, Illinois. So with that, I'm going to start us live here, and then we'll move to Sean giving you some more specific examples. So right now I'm sharing my screen. For some of you that it might come in a little bit slower, but what you're seeing right now is, for those of you who have JobsEQ, the All Tools page. So here are the different analytics that you can drill down on. And as I said, we're going to take a look at Talent Watch. Now, this is something that before we put it together, we talked to some potential clients, some clients in the corporate space, and we said, what do you want? What kind of tool can we put together to make your job easier? And here you said, make it simple. So you can look at the talent market based on companies. You can do something based on a query with regions, job titles, occupations, or skills. And also, if you have others working with you, you can save your queries so that the your associates can then easily run the same query. It's updated daily, so they can get some information that you might have run 2 weeks ago, but now we need an update on it. So here, I'm going to pull a query for financial analysts. So on the right-hand side here, I'm showing you some information. I'm looking at the financial specialists. So these are SOC codes, but again, I could have just put in a teller or something like that I was looking for. And then what you're seeing now at the top are the top 10 employers within that are looking for financial analysts. And my region here is the Midwest on the right-hand side. I could change that to any region, and Sean will do some of that for you. So here are the top 10. We see Deloitte is up there, but we also have Robert Half there. So I may decide I don't want to see any companies that are staffing. So I could click here and apply it so that I only have non-staffing companies. So now I run, and here we have the top 10. When I go down a little bit, I'm now looking at H&R Block as the top employer in the Midwest. We can pin that so that we compare all the industries to the right to H&R Block. And you can see US Bank, Deloitte is a big hirer, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, CBRE, Jackson Hewitt, Crow, and then Department of the Treasury. This one I found interesting when I was looking at this earlier. So Department of the Treasury is one of the top 10 hiring in the Midwest. And take a look at this. Now you can see the different regions where they're hiring, the wages, the number of postings, the detail in terms of the job postings, and here, the skills detail. And look at this. They are hiring 374 auditors. So this is the IRS getting ready to audit you and me and everyone else. But in any case, this gives you a sense, again, of what they're paying, the occupation details, and then below, we're giving you a glimpse of the last year. So H&R Block, you can see that highlighted there. Their job postings are up 8%. Here's their average wage. The median post is 229 days. If we go down, you can see CBRE only posts for 25 days, and they've actually seen a decline in postings over time. So that's a quick overview of just the big picture of Talent Watch. And what I'm going to do now is hand this over to Sean to give you some very interesting details on how you can use this tool.
All right, thank you, Chris. So to start, as Chris showed, we can go to saved queries. We can also just type specific occupations, companies, regions, etc. For the sake of time, I'll pull up a quick search that I ran earlier. You'll see how simple it was on the right, but it was just based on job titles. So for this example, I ran senior software developers and senior software engineers. The region that I'm going to look at for this is going to be the entire USA, because for this type of search, this is going to help with your workforce strategy. This is going to be able to allow you to search specific jobs across all industries, across anywhere in the country. It's very helpful for positions like technology positions, because if I work at a bank, but I need to hire a software engineer, I might be more than willing to hire someone who came from another industry, not necessarily the banking industry. So what you'll see when you first enter your search is you're going to see the company summaries. So as Chris was showing, the companies that have these positions in demand, it's going to have the top 10 companies at the top, the company profiles that you can scroll through, as well as the companies table, starting with the companies with the highest number of postings for these job titles. If we look at our insights, this is going to show the job posts over the last, I believe we have it around the last 14 months. So there's 74,000 job posts over the last 14 months, which is 45% lower than the same time last year. Median wage for these positions is around 130,000. And average time to fill is around 40 days. So to narrow it down a little bit more, we'll just look at non-staffing companies. And we're going to start getting great insights on the regional distribution for where these positions are most in demand. When we want to start learning more about the salary data for workforce strategy, we'll come over and we can look at the job titles. So if we come all the way down to the bottom, we'll see the job titles table. So again, it's going to start with the highest number of postings based on the job title searches that we put in here. You're going to be able to see the salary data to see, is my pay competitive? If we look at senior software engineers and median wages, you'll see the distribution of wages across job postings that are online within this time period. If we are concerned with the time to fill, say your company is taking 40 days, which was the overall average, to fill these jobs, you can start learning insights on why is that job taking so long to fill? How are some of these companies finding ways to fill the role in 30 days or less? So if we look at the specific companies under company summary page, you'll see that, for example, Capital One, Humana, both are averaging around 45. Wells Fargo is averaging around 16. So this is fantastic for setting expectations. One, if you're an internal recruiter and you're looking to make a case to your department on, we're looking to hire these senior software engineers, just to let you know what we're seeing through the JobsEQ tool, it's a little over 40 days on average across the country. So you can start getting everybody prepared for how long these jobs may actually take to fill, and whether that's nationwide or just by your region. The next, you're going to be able to see under the regions page, which locations have the highest demand for the job titles that you're searching for. If you know that you're looking to hire in DC or New York, you can see that these are going to be some of the most in-demand jobs in those areas. So you're going to have the highest amount of competition. Again, that's often going to lead to a higher median duration and time to fill. And then you're going to be able to determine, am I more likely to fill this role if it's in office or if it's remote? So if we look at jobs where remote is indicated, we'll click run. And you'll see that the median duration for DC alone went down by about a week. Now, when you look at insights based on job types being remote, there we go. You'll see that the job posting drastically dropped. So only 16,000 jobs over the last 14 months for the software developers were listed as remote eligible positions. So that's a few ways that this is really going to help with your workforce strategy. Now, when we think about competitive intelligence, let's go back and run another saved query. So for this example, if I'm working at a bank and I'm looking to get intelligence on what my competitors in the industry are doing, you'll see here in this saved query, I've added about 15 different banks. Again, I've kept the region set as the entire USA, and I can start looking at my competitors. What are they hiring for, in what locations, and what are they paying these individuals? So, quick look at the insights. For these 15 banks, about 130,000 job postings over the last 12 months is what it's set to right now. Median wage around 111,000, and time to fill only 19 days. I believe there's an outlier in here which is causing that. But you'll see that the top 10 employers, starting with Wells Fargo, PNC Bank, Bank of America, and Capital One, the top jobs that these individuals or that these companies are hiring for: personal bankers, tellers, part-time tellers. Let's look at the company summaries. And here is where it's going to be incredibly helpful to compare one competitor to another. So we can look at Wells Fargo, see the top regions that they're hiring in, the top job titles that they're hiring for, the top skills that are listed in these job postings, and then the top occupations based on SOC codes. If you'd like to pin Wells Fargo, as you scroll through, you can see that the Wells Fargo bar will stay there, and you can now compare that to Bank of America, to Capital One, to BNY, Citibank, Fifth Third Bank. So to narrow it down a bit more, let's take out USA, and we want to filter by regions. So we'll say the New York City MSA, Charlotte, North Carolina MSA, Washington, D.C., and Dallas. If you're curious why I chose those regions, that was because these were the top regions for some of these job postings. So I'll click run. And now I'm going to be able to see what roles are most in demand at my competitors based on these specific regions. So let's look at job titles since we're already filtering by companies and by region. So we can see senior software engineer, lead software engineer. Very similar to that of Capital One and similar to several of the other large banks that we have in our search parameters. So we can scroll down, see the insights on the top jobs that are in demand in these regions at these companies. The top skills that are required, again, starting with the top 10, and then the top 10 on the skills table. You can expand this out as far as you'd like. And then let's look at occupations. So what are the roles that are most in demand at my competitors in my specified regions? Well, let's look. We see Wells Fargo, management analysts. So let's say, what is the median wage for management analysts within our 4 regions? It gives you the full breakdown of the number of job postings based on the salary data that is listed in the job postings. And then we want to look in farther to see what do my competitors' job postings actually look like. So when we click on postings, it's going to give you the online postings that were active within the time frame that you've selected in the search parameters. And we'll click on the first one here because that is currently active. You're going to get the full job description here, but when you click on View Original, oh, that one must have been filled or pulled down. So let's see if we can find one that might be open.
Hey, Sean, that might be populating in a new window.
Ah, okay. So let's see if I can share that. Bear with me. We'll come to postings here. So that is going to be the piece that I'm unable to share through Webinar Jam, actually, Andrew, now that we're saying that, because I'm currently sharing my browser tab instead of my full screen. So let's see if I can share like this. Didn't like that. All right, so for the sake of continuing on, I'll explain what the search is showing on my end since I can't show the other screen. But when you click into the actual job title, it's going to take you to the job posting that is broken down on the JobsEQ page, where it will give you the company, the title for the position, the full job description, and there's an icon to click View Original, which will take you directly to the company's career page. For this example for Wells Fargo, it's taking you to the Wells Fargo Workday Jobs career page. So to move on from that, we can continue gaining these insights to figure out a few great pieces. This competitive intelligence here is going to provide you with the data telling you what jobs are your competitors hiring for, what are they hiring for in the regions that you might be looking to fill jobs in, what do their job posts look like, what are some keywords that they're putting in jobs that is allowing them to fill these jobs quicker than your company is filling them in, and what are the intended salaries that you have for these jobs, are they competitive in your industry? Are they competitive in your industry within your specified location? And when it comes to recruiting, what companies should your recruiters be targeting for specific roles? If you know that you're looking to, say, hire a financial services sales agent, you could obviously say it's going to be likely that you're going to hire them from another bank. But when you can get the insights to see the job titles, the job occupations, and then narrow it all the way down to the full job description, it provides fantastic insights to say, all right, if I know that competitor X has the skills and requirements that are very similar to what we're looking to hire for, it's a fantastic place to start when it comes to headhunting in companies that you know that your recruiters should start targeting to fill your current roles. To move on and look at this tool from the benchmarking standpoint, we can stay within this search, but we'll see the skills that are in demand at these companies. We'll see that the top skill that's listed here is Agile. When we look at the median wage, again, we're going to see the distribution of these salaries and how they're posted online based on the skill that is noted within the job postings, as well as the number of postings, and again, the full job descriptions. Now, if we want to have another specific skill in mind that maybe isn't one of the top skills that are listed on the table, we can use the filters over on the right. And let's say we have a job that we're looking to hire for that's going to contain JIRA. We'll run that. We'll see that there's 2,000 jobs within these regions and the specified banks over the last year. Median wage, time to fill. We can look at the job titles that are based on that skill that we have input. It's going to be software engineers, Scrum Masters. Again, we can compare those across any of the companies. See the number of postings, median wages. So what you'll see is the more narrow we start making our search, the lower number of postings, the less information you're going to start getting on wages, but it also is going to provide you with insights to know that these tend to be positions that can be harder to fill. We can see other skills that might be associated with the skill that we have as our input, and what other skills maybe have we been leaving out of our job postings and we need to start including in future job postings. And then again, we can sort it by all employers that are hiring for job title under JIRA. If we would so like to clear out the companies, and we want to clear our regions, we'll just look for all job postings with JIRA. And that's where we can start seeing that if we need to hire someone with this background, we can start looking for roles outside of the banking industry, outside of staffing companies, to start finding the people that have the specified background that could be great fits to come over into your current company. With that, I will pass it back off to Andrew.
Yeah, Sean, we've got some questions coming in through the chat. I'm going to kick these to you and Chris. We were talking, there was a question in the chat about hiring instead of skill by credential or certificate. Are we able to see credentials or awards like that?
We can. So bear with me and I will pull that up.
While he's pulling that up, I saw someone on with education, or a couple of people in the higher education area. You're probably already thinking through this. This would be a great tool to identify the kids with certain degrees, who's hiring them right now, who's hiring them within the footprint of where we educate our students, and who's hiring them in the state, so that you can help your alumni find the jobs they need.
So for certifications, we can search, enter certifications. So this is going to show postings that included certifications of, I just put in Scrum as a general, but you'll see the job list. So project management leads, product owners, product engineers, business analysts. So you can search by certifications that way. If you want to narrow it down further to see who is hiring and requires master's degrees, you can enter it here. You can also do keyword searches for any of these, which is very helpful if it's a very specific criteria that you are looking to search for, that maybe some people call it the full breakdown of words and others go by an acronym. You can enter both in the keyword search. You can take out the certifications there, and it's going to show positions that include Scrum in the keyword that is going to be based anywhere within that job search. So any other questions that I can answer while I have my screen share going, Andrew?
Yeah, we've got one here on median wage. Chris, you might be able to answer this. This is an attribution question for the median wage data. Is that pulled, aggregated from the job postings within RTI, or is that coming from somewhere else?
The median wage for that you're seeing here in Talent Watch?
Correct.
These are going to be the median wages based on the actual job postings.
So once again, Sean, can you click on one of those just so individuals could see that we are also showing all of the wages, so that you know, just because the median may be X, there are still some that pay 190,000, 7 of them in this example, and 8 that pay only 130,000.
Correct. If we look at it by occupations, you'll get a much wider breakdown.
I see Tanya's asking if we can create custom occupation groups, and the answer to that is yes. So you can use those in your queries. So for example, one I love to use is cyber. Cyber's not a SOC code yet, but if I query cyber in my region, and then I may find that 4 SOC codes are highly associated with cyber, then I'll take those 4 and I'll call them cyber intensive jobs, and then you could run that in this under the keyword search or the occupation search.
Correct. And yes, you can do custom occupations, as you see here. If I run banking and finance, this was just a mix that I had created. I can pull out cyber, and when I run, you'll see the occupation list. These are going to be the list of the occupation codes that I had chosen from the JobsEQ platform and just added them, basically selected them like this. I can select any that I want. I can add to filters, and you can also go in and save them under your custom occupations here, and then search them under your occupations. Again, then you could save, you can retitle. And then when I go back into Talent Watch, you'll see that that query is saved. You can tweak it however you'd want. And if you wanted to tweak it and then save it, or if you wanted to tweak it, say, for specific regions, you could do it that way. You could have a Southeast, Northeast, West Coast, and have them all saved under different Talent Watch searches. The reason that is incredibly helpful is, as Chris had mentioned earlier, since these job postings are up to date, you can go in and refresh and look at these on a daily basis or a weekly basis to gain insights on how others are hiring and new job posts that are coming up within your specified parameters here. As you see on the search to the right, you could say active during the last 30 days, apply and run. And you can see how the insights will change based on the timeframes that you have as your input.
Not to shortchange Rory, real quick, back to the median wage. Are you able to select hourly versus annual? The median wage column?
So when we look at the wages that are listed through Talent Watch, the wage that is going to be associated with that job is going to be an annual. Now, when you do some of the searches in the other JobsEQ tools, you can select hourly versus salary or a full year wage. But with Talent Watch, you're just going to be looking at the annual pay. Now, you could divide that by 2080 to have your hourly wage if necessary, or you could take your intended hourly wage and multiply it by that and have your full year in mind. But that is the way that these search criteria does come through in Talent Watch.
I did want to mention something else before we jump off the call. We always have a long list of things that we're adding to JobsEQ, and many of them come from you, our clients or prospective clients. And one that individuals or companies have been asking for is experience level. Can we have the ability to pull open the experience level that is being required on these job postings? And then can we look at the wages that are being offered for those experience levels? And I'm happy to let you know that barring any big problems, that should be available in just a couple of weeks. So you'll be able to query, again, experience level that competitors are requiring for particular occupations or job titles, as well as syncing up the wages with those experience levels.
Any other questions, comments coming through on the chat? Talent Watch is available right now. It is an upsell to either your existing JobsEQ subscription, or it can be purchased separately. But it is available as of this moment.
And anybody on the team would be happy to schedule a live demo of the tool where we can run specific searches based on the criteria that you do have in mind. As you can see, it's very easy to run these queries on the fly. So it makes for a fantastic tool for live demos, especially when you're not screen sharing only one tab and you can't see the job posts.
All right. Feel free to reach out to, hello, we got one more. Can you see jobs? Sean, can you see jobs that are double posted on a staffing site and corporate site? Does this deduplicate or does it show both?
It
Correct.
deduplicates. Yeah, it deduplicates. So if, for example, something is on, let's say, LinkedIn and something's on Northrop Grumman, we will default to the Northrop Grumman site on the assumption that it would be more accurate. So yeah, we're deduplicating it.
Awesome. Okay, so as we had mentioned earlier, the JobsEQ tool, or excuse me, Talent Watch and JobsEQ are powered by real-time intelligence, which crawls over 45,000 job posting sites daily. So you're getting the most up-to-date, timely information that you need to make informed decisions. We're blending here traditional labor market information as well as this non-structured data through these job posting sites to provide you with really just an unparalleled look at the hiring landscape and insights that you're not going to be able to find anywhere else. Very excited to have you on this call today. Should anyone want additional information, feel free to reach out. You can email hello@chmura.com and we'll connect you with either Sean or one of the other account executives to get you a live demo tailored to your individual questions and needs. Or you can visit our website and schedule one at chmura.com/demo. Again, we'll provide a recording of this call as well as the slides, the static slides that we've presented. So the recording is going to be really more useful for you. But if you have any questions, yeah, we'd love to talk with you more. Thanks again for your time. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Sean. That's all we have for you today.
Thank you, Andrew.